If you've been wondering how the United States is doing, well, the United States currently is in panic mode, and for multiple reasons. But today, I want to address one of the biggest concerns that many people within Congress have. Many people don't realize what is going on, so I'm going to address this in just a moment. All I ask is if you can spend 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, and let's begin. So if you've been watching the news over the past couple of days, you've probably seen that the United States does not have a Speaker of the House, which is very concerning. The Speaker of the House is a very, very important position. Not only is this one of the people that could potentially be one of the presidents if something were to happen, and hopefully that doesn't happen, but this would be somebody that's in line for the presidency. Also, this is the person that brings bills to the floor of the House of Representatives. And until this person is chosen, there's really no bills that are going to make it to the floor that will go to the Senate and will hit President Biden's desk for a signature. Which means at this time and in just over 1 month, we are potentially going to see the U.S. government shut down because we do not have funding for fiscal year 2024 after November 17th. But look at this. I want to show you this because this is really important. This is critical. How speakership stalled as Scalise withdraws from race. Now, if you recall from about 2 to 3 days ago, I did a video and I talked about what would Representative Steve Scalise do for Social Security. What could we see? What were his positions? Stuff like that. Well, that was because there were a lot of rumors and a lot of talk that Republicans were going to choose Representative Steve Scalise. Well, Republicans did choose Steve Scalise as not only just one of the front runners, but their choice for the next Speaker of the House. Well, after a couple of days of Representative Steve Scalise going around and talking to Republicans to try to get their votes, it was pretty clear he was not able to get it. So I want to go ahead and read this. This is an article from the Washington Post. It says down here, Representative Steve Scalise announced at a Republican conference meeting Thursday night that he is pulling out of the race to become Speaker. The announcement came after a day full of lengthy meetings with fellow Republicans that several described as unproductive. Scalise had narrowly edged Representative Jim Jordan, a Republican out of Ohio, in a Wednesday conference vote to be named Speaker designate, but had made little progress getting to the 217 votes he would need in a floor vote to win the gavel. So, again, he's not going to get the votes. But what does this mean? Who could potentially be the next Speaker of the House? Well, there's actually 3 different options here. Let me show you this. There's the Judiciary Chairman, Jim Jordan. He was actually one of the ones that was going up against Representative Steve Scalise, and Republicans chose Steve Scalise, not Jim Jordan. Well, he's one of the front runners at this point. Okay? It says right here, Jordan was the only other formally declared candidate in the House GOP's race for Speaker, netting 99 votes to Scalise's 113. Keep in mind, you need 217 votes in order to become the Speaker of the House. At this time, neither one of these people have enough votes. So that is the first option. The second one right now would be the Majority Whip, Tom Emmer. Okay, he's a Republican out of Minnesota. Now, he does hold the number 3 leadership spot within the House of Representatives for the Republican Party. So he is one of the ones that is there that they're considering. The other one is the Speaker pro tempore, Patrick McHenry. He is the current Speaker, okay, the fill-in Speaker, if you will. And some say that even though he is potentially a candidate for this, he's the least likely option out of those 3. The most likely option is Representative Jim Jordan, but again, he got less votes than Steve Scalise. So the problem might be, who gets chosen. Now, something that you need to keep in mind is that we need a Speaker of the House. We have to have a Speaker of the House. Right now, there's 3 different ways this can go. We could see one of those 3 options or another Republican option be chosen. It could even be former President Donald Trump or really anybody. because you do not have to be a member of the House of Representatives in order to become the Speaker, which is interesting. So we now know that it could be anybody. You just have to have 217 votes. So Republicans do have the majority. However, they have to somewhat offer concessions in order for their those like 5 or 6 holdouts in order to vote for a new Republican. We also could see the temporary speaker just remain in this seat. The problem, though, is the House isn't going to function properly. What could happen is we could see legislation brought to the floor of the House that would change the rules and allow the Speaker pro tempore in Patrick McHenry in order to do the job as the Speaker temporarily until they find another solution. However, that could be a little while. Some Republicans say, for example, Florida's Byron Donalds, he says, members want this resolved. I think a caretaker is not what members are interested in, and frankly, I agree. They want somebody permanently, not somebody that's just going to hold the gavel for the next month or two and then hand it over. So that's one option. And the other one, Republicans would have to work with Democrats. Democrats would come pretty much to the rescue to help Republicans get the 217 votes. The problem here is they would have to make concessions. Both parties would need to make concessions. Okay, if Republicans need Democrats, then guess what? Republicans need to make a concession. For example, and one of the ones that would be pulled off the table immediately is Democrats do not want anybody, just one person, being able to make a motion to have the Speaker vacate their office, which is exactly what happened when Representative Matt Gaetz made a motion and then Speaker Kevin McCarthy was ousted. They don't want that, so that would have to be removed. But again, if Republicans need Democratic support, then Republicans would have to make concessions with Democrats as well. So there could be a lot of things happening in the near future. One thing that we do not want is we do not want there to be no options. That there's no legislation to keep the Speaker pro tempore, Patrick McHenry, in the seat for a little while. This could cause a huge crash. We do not want Republicans and Democrats to get into it and not vote for anybody. That would, again, cause a huge crash. Right now, there's so many things that are on the line. Government funding bill, which is, again, expires November 17th, so we need that. Next one, funding for Ukraine, funding for Israel. Those are still there, right? I talked about Social Security the other day and actually this morning as well. And again, if we don't see something happen as far as Social Security reform, the Social Security Trust Fund will become insolvent by 2034. I know this is down the road a little bit and we should definitely have a speaker by then, but as of right now, again, there's a lot of problems. The biggest thing, though, is House Republicans, according to reports yesterday and this morning, says top House Republicans want help from Democrats to pick a speaker. So they're not just saying that we could potentially work with Democrats. What they're saying is, no, we need to work with Democrats, and Democrats need to give their opinion as to who the next speaker should potentially be. So, as we get more information as to who the next speaker might be, what this could mean for the American people, for Social Security, for funding, for the U.S. government, for Israel, for Ukraine, and so much more, I promise I'll come back on and I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All you gotta do is 2 things. First, hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Also, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update, and I will see you guys on the next one.